Hey guys, Sean T. Phillips here with another video talking about movies you guys can stream for free on Tubi. This time I'm going to be concentrating on comedy movies on Tubi. I did a video before talking about horror movies to check out on Tubi, and I'm pretty much going to go off the cuff and just kind of go through and scroll through the list on Tubi and let you guys know some of the comedy ones on there that I've seen, what I guys thought, what I thought of them. And now with Tubi though, I know it's not available everywhere, but you guys can watch it though on your computer, on your TV. You guys can download the app for free and everything. But use this video though as a general idea where even if you guys can't watch Tubi, I'm sure some of these movies are available on other streaming services as well for free. Like YouTube has a bunch of movies up for free and a couple other things, and they may be up to, if you guys have Amazon Prime, they could also be on on Netflix and that kind of stuff as well. So let the video exploring the comedy movies on Tubi begin. So we'll head back into Tubi now. My last video showing Tubi, I showed the horror. Now, though, we'll take a look at the comedy sections on here. I'm going to do it the same way I did last time, all off the cuff, kind of just scrolling through the list, saying, some of the ones I'd say, would recommend checking out, all that kind of stuff on here. So as I said, we'll head through, just kind of scan through the list here and see. I haven't even looked at all through the comedy, so I don't know, what kind of stuff's on here. I've seen stuff on here like The Hunger Games was like a weird, I think 2014 spoof of the Hunger Games mixed with The Hangover, kind of like mixed in there. And this is a weird one that was on here. I still need to watch this. This movie never even really got I don't think it came to DVD or Blu-ray or anything. And it was called Porky's Pimpin Pee Wee, which stars Adam Wiley. And it was from the director of Dead End Drive-In, but it was like a like a kind of a remake of Porky's that no one really knew about, and then kind of like never really got a release or anything like that. So I have not watched it, so I don't know anything about it. Now this one though is a great movie. I guess there's some comedy to it, which stars Brittany Murphy and John Leguizamo, called Spun. This is the R-rated cut of it, so it's kind of cut up a little bit. But if you guys have never seen this movie, this is a great, crazy movie. I absolutely love this movie, and you don't hear about it too often. Kicking It Old School is on here with Jamie Kennedy. Kid Cannabis, that was okay, about these guys who were growing marijuana and trying to smuggling it and selling it and all this kind of stuff, and it kind of all goes terribly wrong with all sorts of problems and everything. Let's see, Van Wilder. That's like when I think of Ryan Reynolds, early Ryan Reynolds, just the first thing I always think of. What his movies, and I always kind of liked this movie. I thought it was actually a pretty fun movie. Let's see here. This is one you never hear about. This is kind of a movie that went to theaters, came out, and then kind of got forgotten about. Strange Wilderness. And it had a good cast and everything, but you never hear anyone bring this one up. It's one of those totally forgotten movies. Let's see. I showed this one because some of these ones that are kind of horror and comedies I showed last time, another Ryan Reynolds movie, The Voices, when he's he's kind of everything around him. He's hearing his animals talking and all sorts of they're telling him things to do, and he has all kind of bad luck with relationships and everything, and it's just kind of him cracking up and everything, and things take these bad turns and everything. Let's see, the Bad News Bears, remake was on here that Richard Linklater directed. This one was actually pretty fun. I haven't seen this one in a long time. I don't think I've actually seen this one since this came to theaters. It's crazy. It's over 15 years old now. Let's see here. Little Man. Little Man was not great. That was one of the Keenen Ivory Wayans movies that he did that I didn't love. There is some really funny stuff in here, about the cookie having bite to it and stuff. There were some funny lines, but it was not great. Not as much. I really when it came to Keenen Ivory Wayans' other movies, I liked, of course, Scary Movies, both the Scary Movie movies that they did, and also White Chicks. I thought was a really fun movie, and I know they've been talking for years about doing a sequel to that, and it sounds like they might be doing it. Of course, though, this is a must-watch if you guys have never seen it. Good Burger. Like, that's a movie I grew up with. I remember seeing this one in theaters. I saw this in theaters when I was in Florida. I remember I had, like, terrible food poisoning. I think I got, like, food poisoning from, like, at MGM. They used to have, like, I don't know if it's there anymore or not, but, like, a kind of like a diner thing at MGM. The theme park now, it's called Hollywood Studios. But I remember, like, ordering these, like, spaghetti. And I remember I got really sick. But then I really wanted to see this movie, so I was real sick when I was seeing this movie. So I always remember that. This one that Adam Rifkin wrote, Mouse Hunt with Nathan Lane. Another one, you don't hear about it too often, about these people that buy this house, and it's like there's a mouse in it, and they're trying to catch it, and it's like all sorts of like troubles going on. But it's a really fun, family comedy. Let's see, on here, I Got the Hookup, which is one I have not watched in a really, really long time. Another Jamie Kennedy movie, Malibu's Most Wanted. Let's see, Sex Drive. That was actually a pretty fun movie with Clark Duke, and like they were going on like a road trip or something. Another one, I have not seen this one since this first came out, but I remember really liking this one. Let's see. Alf is on here, the TV series. Like I said, it's kind of anything that it kind of can be mixed in. So things that are comedy and like could be like TV related sometimes end up in the lists as well. Let's see. I do not know what this one is. Kevin Hart movie, Let Go. Naked Gun 3.5. This is the third Naked Gun movie. This one, though, I feel like everyone's seen this movie, but, of course, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, that's like an absolute must-watch, and that's one of those movies that no matter how many times you watch it, too, you always tear up to that, John Candy speech about, like, I like me, my customers like me. Like, I feel like his delivery with the music that they use in that scene as well is probably, like, one of the best delivered, acted scenes, and to me, in history. It was just such a touching, sad sequence seeing the movie. This movie is like a kind of a mixture of a movie with like a comedy thriller, like it says action. Freeway with early Reese Witherspoon movie with Kiefer Sutherland, and Kiefer Sutherland is this crazed serial killer that picks her up when she's hitchhiking, and like he tries to kill her and stuff, and it's he gets all messed up from it, and it's kind of like she goes to prison, and it's a great movie. It's a really they made a sequel to it as well, but Freeway though is, if you guys have never seen that one, it's another one like I said you don't hear about too much. This is definitely a must watch. Get Shorty, that was a fun movie. I have not seen this one in a long time. Let's see on here. Men at Work, another one I don't remember too well, but I remember liking that one. Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen movie. What's this? Rescue from Gilligan's Island. That's a fun TV movie that I always like that one as well. It's one of those ones that's like kind of a public domain movie, so there's been like so many different like releases of it, on like DVDs and stuff throughout the years. But I'm a Cheerleader. This is like one of my favorite movies. This is like a must watch if you guys have never seen this one. It's with Natasha Lyonne's character, and like her family and her boyfriend kind of suspect that she's a lesbian, so they send her to like a gay conversion camp, and it's RuPaul is in it, and it's just basically, she goes there, and it's kind of what she goes through, but it's such a great movie, like, a great cast in this one, a lot of character actors in it, but it's another one you don't hear about as often as you should. Let's see. Return of the Living Dead. Like I said, some of the ones that are horror comedies are mixed in. So I talked a lot about that one, but a great zombie film, must watch. This is one of probably my favorite of the Farrelly Brothers movies, next to Dumb and Dumber. And sometimes I feel like I've watched this one even a little bit more because I just love this movie. And it's Kingpin, with Woody Harrelson's character is this guy who kind of was set to be like this huge bowling star, and like he ended up like he was betting money that he didn't have, and he ended up having his hand, cut off in the bowling machine thing. So his career ended, and he saw Randy Quaid's character bowling in a bowling alley, and he's was a Amish, and he basically talks him into basically representing him and going around and like betting with him and making money and everything. But it's a really, really fun movie.
This is a movie that's not great, but I always loved it because I watched it as a kid and always liked it. With Macaulay Culkin, Ted Danson movie, Getting Even with Dad. And like Macaulay Culkin goes to visit his dad that he hasn't seen in a long time. And his dad's like this con man who's like, you know, kind of up to no good and robbing things and stealing money and everything. And he ended up stealing all this money. And like Macaulay Culkin's character hides it and makes his dad like take him and do things with him and like take him to like events and stuff like that in order for him to tell him where the money is. And, you know, not turn over to the cops and turn him in and everything. Let's see. I don't, like I said, when I went through these last time, you know, with the horror, I went to over 2,000 titles, so there was a lot. So we'll go through here for a while. Ernest Goes to School, one of the lesser talked about Ernest movies when he basically goes to school. The Simple Life series, which is, you know, if you guys want to watch something, it's a real throwback and really dated. But back in the day, I watched this show like crazy and has all the seasons on here. I think it's all the seasons. I feel like it might have been a 5th season, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But I remember back in the day when that was on, I watched that one all the time. Let's keep going through here. Dennis the Menace series on there. Kevin Smith Yoga Hosers. That one's not great. That's probably one of my least favorite Kevin Smith movies. It's still a fun watch, but it just, I don't know, it just wasn't that great. Penelope, this is a Christina Ricci movie that you don't hear about too often, when she had a pig nose and she like finds love and stuff. It was I like this one, but you never hear anyone talk about that one. There's a lot of interesting ones on here you never hear people discuss. Another one on here, which is a movie I always watched as a kid, was Harriet the Spy. You know, and that was one with, you know, Michelle Trentenbong. I never started to say her last name right. And Rosie O'Donnell. But this is like one of those real like movies I watched as a kid like crazy. Like I remember seeing this one in theaters and how much I liked that one. This one here, Ringmaster. This one was like with Jerry Springer. This was alright. Nothing like you have to watch. Let's see. Hell Baby, that was kind of funny. Nothing amazing, but there was some funny, like, ridiculous stuff in that one. Let's see, I was trying to pick, like, the best ones. Vamps, which was Amy Heckerlund's movie, Lisa Silverstone and Kristen Ritter. This was kind of fun. Another one, though, I only saw this once when this, you know, came out in 2012. I haven't seen it since. Throw 'Em Off from the Train. This is an absolute, like, one you have got to watch with Billy Crystal and his mom's played by Anne Ramsey, and lives with his mother. And his mother is, like, real controlling, kind of messing up his life. And he becomes friends with Billy Crystal, and like he kind of like says to him, because Billy Crystal's having problems with I think his wife or something. I can't remember exactly, but they say to, you know, as a kind of like a joke, you know, Danny DeVito's like, well, if you kill my mother, I'll kill your wife and make it look like an accident, and like, you know, that's the whole thing. And it's just a really fun, crazy, ridiculous movie. Meatballs, which is, you know, Bill Murray, Ivan Reitman movie about him as a camp counselor with all these kind of crazy kids at the camp and everything. And they made a whole bunch of those. Howard Stern's Private Parts. This is one I got to go back and watch again. I haven't seen this one in a long time, but I remember liking that one. Rodney Dangerfield, My Five Wives. That was pretty funny. Another Ernest movie on here, Ernest in the Army. That one was probably my least favorite Ernest movie. For some reason, I don't know if for sure if I ever actually watched the whole movie. I don't know why. I just like didn't like that one too much for some reason. Let's see here. Keep going. Little Rascals. That's the series, not the movie. I Hate Kids. That was kind of funny. This has Titus Burgess, you know, from Kimmy Schmidt is in this one. He was really funny in this one. The Untouchables, that was the original one. That was actually a really good movie. Really sad film, though. Sleepaway Camp 3. Saved by the Bell. That was a Saved by the Bell TV, like, Lifetime movie, which was alright. Weird Al, UHF, when he, like, runs this, like, TV station that's, like, kind of not doing well. I liked Weird Al, too, acting in this. I thought he did a good job in that movie. Let's see. Bob the Butler. That there's some definitely real forgotten ones on here with Tom Green and Brooke Shields. And another one I watched that in 2005. Totally don't remember exactly what happens in that. It was kind of like those things I saw one time. This is a great movie, though. Brian Danley's movie with Jenna Malone, Macaulay Culkin, Mandy Moore, Saved. And it's kind of like all at this Christian high school. And the one character, Jenna Malone's character, finds out she's pregnant. And it's kind of like her getting all kind of crap from the students. Because like I said, it's a Christian school, so they're giving her all kind of grief. And it's a great movie, though. Really, really great movie. That one? Paul's to the Rescue. What Just Happened? That's one of those ones I never watched. Madhouse. I remember liking Madhouse. That was with Kirstie Alley, and like I think it was like they get a new house and like family members come by or something like that and call. They did a lot of movies kind of like that, like about like getting houses and like problems with it when they get it. Around that same time, another Ernest movie. I didn't know there was that many Ernest movies on here. Ernest Rides Again. This one I do remember liking. This one. This one was one of those ones too that was kind of rare and out of print and really hard to find for a while. I don't know what that one is. The Shrimp Barbie. Shrimp on a Barbie. I do not know that one from 1990. Another Ernest one, Ernest in Africa. That one I do remember liking as well. I talked about this one in the horror one because this is a horror comedy. Mr. Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard. That's a really fun movie. God Bless America. That's a Bobcat Goldthwait movie. I remember liking that one. Slam Dunk, Ernest. Out of the direct-to-video ones that were the later ones, this is one of the ones I think I like the best. Because he's like, gets these pair of shoes that make him like a great basketball player. And I don't know, I thought this was actually a really fun one. And this is one of the least talked about Ernest movies for some reason. You hear about that one the least when it comes to some of the other ones. Bloody Buddy Bible Camp, that's a fun horror comedy movie. So there's some stand-up stuff mixed in here. Waxwork, I showed that one. Early, Adam Sandler movie, going overboard. This was not great though, but like if you want to see really, really early Adam Sandler, see. And I said I do not know how long this list goes because when I went through the horror, it went for I went for 2,500 movies that I went through. So maybe it'd be like the same amount, like that many. This is a great movie. I always really liked this movie. They're directed by Albert Brooks with Albert Brooks and Debbie Reynolds, Mother, and it's like it kind of reminds me almost of like a Larry. He's kind of like before Curb Your Enthusiasm was a show. His Albert Brooks' character is kind of like that because he's got all sorts of problems and relationship problems and problems with things. And he goes and moves back in with his mother, and like his mother is giving him all kind of problems, and it's like she's kind of picking apart his life, and it's a really, really fun movie. And like there's a great sequence in there, and they go to like a supermarket. And like, and then she gets this old ice cream in the house, and she says like, "Oh, this is protective ice." I always really like that one. The Funhouse Massacre. That's a really fun horror comedy. With Robert Englund's in this one. Clint Howard. Let's see. This was a kind of funny sex ed with Haley Joel Osment as like a sex ed teacher at the school. Let's see. Orange County. This is another one I need to go back and watch again. With Jack Black. And I remember like hearing when they filmed this or something, Jack Black had to film his entire role in like a day or something like that. And it wasn't even a full day. He had like all these other things he was doing at the same time. So let's see. The Dirt Bike Kid. That stars the kid from the Christmas Story. This is actually a pretty good movie. I remember. Another one a lot of these ones I've not seen in a long time. Keep going through here. The In-Betweeners movie. There's a second In-Betweeners movie that never came out to DVD in the U.S. I don't know why. But I really love the In-Betweeners series. I didn't think the movie was as good, but I still did really like it, though. But the series, though, is a really great series of, TV series. Jack Frost, I talked about this one in the, the horror one, but that was actually a fun killer snowman movie. Bride of Reanimator is on here. I talked about that in the horror one. Let's see. Yeah, some of these ones I went through because, like I said, some of them the horror comedies, like Body Bags, a really great anthology, a horror film. Try not to make sure I don't miss any interesting ones. Parents, I talked about that with Randy Quaid in the horror video. If you guys didn't see that one, though, I went through the whole horror, well, at least, like I said, 2,500, so I don't know how much longer it went. And with these ones, some people were saying how their lists are not exactly the same on their TVs and stuff like that. So basically, any ones that I mentioned, though, you guys can search for them, because there is a search bar on the side. So if you can't find them, don't worry, you can just search for them and find them as well, and then like add them to your queue thing on here, or just search for the ones that you want to watch. So they're basically, I'm pretty sure they're all on there, but they're just maybe harder to find. It's a zoo in here. I do not know what that is. This is a Steve Martin movie. There's a lot of ones you never hear about with Steve Martin and Laura Dern with Novocaine, and he was like a dentist. And I have not watched this one in almost 20 years, so I don't remember it at all. But I remember liking it. I remember talking about it a lot back in the day, but I don't remember it at all. Let's see, Munchies, that was like a goofy kind of like, sort of like a Gremlins sort of kind of creature kind of thing like that. Let's see here. Home for the Holidays is good. Ginger Dead Man. Saturday the 14th, which is a spoof, a spoof film there. I talked about that some in the horror one. They have the Gallagher collection in here. I guess all the Gallagher stand-up specials. Arachnoquake. This is one I almost did something in that movie. I think it was like all these different options of things I was going to do in that movie. Like a scene in the beginning, I got fallen like a hole or something, but it didn't end up working out. But I remember I almost did something in that one. Let's see. Steve-O stuff on here. So I'll keep going through here. Not Another Zombie Movie. I do not know that. I don't think I've seen that. My Tutor. I don't remember if I ever watched this one or not. There's a couple ones like that. One of them had the kid from the original Dennis the Menace show. I remember it. I believe. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong about that. Basket Case is a horror comedy. I talked about that one in the horror video, but that's a great movie. Slaughter High, another horror comedy. This movie is one of those ones that's considered one of the worst movies ever. Always on the worst list with Carrot Top, chairman of the board. But honestly, it's watchable. It's Jack Warden is in the movie as well, and it's not great or anything like that, but it still is a really fun watch. If you want to watch like a good bad movie kind of, or like a so bad it's good kind of movie, I'd watch it just because it's just so goofy. And I don't know. I always kind of liked it. And when it comes to some comedies, some movies like that, you just kind of like them just because they're so ridiculous. Even though you're like, I know I'm not watching something great. Let's see, Remote. I did not know Remote was on here. That's one of those Moonbeam films that Full Moon did, and it was kind of like a similar kind of movie to Home Alone. But I watched this one so many times as a kid. This was one of those ones I rented that one again and again and again. Bob and Margaret, that's a great TV series on here. I always really liked that one. Let's see. Bikini Swamp Girl Massacre, that was like a fun indie movie. People going on a trip to the Everglades and weird stuff was happening out there. See, so now we've gone 900 in. Alright, so like I said, I don't know how long the list goes. This was actually a pretty good Nick Cannon movie. I thought he gave a really kind of different role for him, and a real serious kind of performance called Berserk. That one, though, I recommend you guys check out. I really, really like that one. Some Three Stooges ones. I think these are probably some of the public domain Three Stooges, because so I don't know how exactly that happened, but there was a handful of Three Stooges shorts that ended up in the public domain, and I don't really know exactly how. It's like the one in the court, and a handful of others, but somehow those ones are public domain. Let's see here. I feel like too, when it comes on here though with the horror one, I feel like there was a lot more known horror movies. On the comedy, there's not as many super known. There are a lot, but there's not as many that I've noticed. This one here was pretty good. This is one I need to go back and watch again. It's a Roger Avery movie, Rules of Attraction with James Van Der Beek. But this remember this was like one of the first times I saw like Fred Savage like in this really different kind of role when he kind of came back to acting in 2002. Let's see. And let me know, too, in the comments if I'm missing anything. Tim and Eric's billion dollar movie. This is all set, too, in this bankrupt mall. And you know me, I love movies set in malls. And I really like Tim and Eric's stuff. Their new TV show called, like, Beef House is kind of fun. I don't know. I always like their stuff, especially Steve Brule. You know, check it out with Steve Brule, which they produce and write. Let's keep going through here. Cheap Thrills, that's really good. You know, that Pat Healy movie, Ethan Embry movie, that was actually really good. I don't know what this Whoopi Goldberg movie is from 1988, The Telephone. I've definitely never seen that one. This is really good. And this stars Chris Weitz and Paul Weitz and Mike White. And this is all kind of, a lot of people who are in this, besides Mike White, are more directors and producers and things like that acting in this. And this is about these two guys who are these friends. And like, when they were younger, they were kind of had this, you know, stuff that was going on with them. And like, Mike White's character kind of comes back around again and starts like obsessively stalking the one guy because he's like in love with him and stuff. And it's a really, really well done movie. That's one of those ones I would definitely recommend you guys watch. This one I didn't even know was on here. This one in the U.S. never got a physical release for some reason. I don't know why. I need to actually watch this one with Kat Dennings. I did not realize this was on here, but for some reason in the U.S., as far as I know, it never had a DVD, Blu-ray, or anything. Going through here. Even bagels eat brains. You know, even angels eat brains. What am I doing? I'm doing real dyslexic here. Even angels eat beans. See, that's bad dyslexia. I was thinking that says even, you know, angels eat brains. Like, what the... That's the problem with being really, really dyslexic. Sometimes when you're reading, you totally see the total wrong thing when you're reading something. That's why sometimes if you mention people saying like, oh yeah, you sometimes say the things wrong. It's like, yeah, that's why. This one was kind of funny. It's not a good movie at all, but the funny thing that's funny about it is the most of the movie takes place in this you know, on this like basketball court kind of thing inside, kind of like a court inside, like at the school, and it's where they shot around the same time Haunted High. So like when I watch this movie, I'm like, that's where I was hanging out in Haunted High. Like they had the craft services in there. They filmed the scenes of me crawling through the vents. That's where they made most of the sets that you crawl through, and some of the dungeon, like the basement sets and stuff, were all built in the school gym where this was shot. This Joey King movie, Smartass, this was not bad. Let's see. Some of the Mr. Science Theater 3000s are on here. Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. Don't think I watched that one. So we're now at 1200. Struck by Lightning, that was pretty good. This is from the same director of, you know, Save, Brian Danley. This was actually really good as well. Wolf Cop, that was a fun horror comedy. Peanut Butter Solution, this is one of those movies I've talked about so many times. You know, about like this kid who sees something scary and all his hair falls out, and these homeless people come to him in a dream because he helped them. He gave him money, but they die in this building, and they tell him about this concoction, this peanut butter to put on his head, but he puts too much on it, his hair won't stop growing. It is an insane movie. Like, it is such a crazy concept, but it's a really, really fun movie. This was not a bad Jennifer Love Hewitt movie called Zootopia. That was actually pretty good. Cool as Ice. That's a fun, like, you know... Oh, this is like the riff track version, so I guess that's like Mr. Science Theater version of them talking over it, but that's a fun movie. The Angry Video Game Nerd movie. The John Waters movie here, Cecil B. Demented. That was actually pretty good. I like that one a lot. Let's see. Some kind of Tom Green Live. Was this from him in his house, I guess? I don't know what's that one. I guess that was maybe when they brought back the show, maybe? I don't know. And there's a riff track version on here of Mr. Ice Cream, or of Ice Cream with Clint Howard. That's kind of cool, though. Them talking, I guess, talking over the movie. The Stage Fright was not really a Stage Fright remake, but I talked about this one in the horror one. Camp, I do not know what that show is. Free Enterprise. That's one I need to watch sometime. I remember hearing about this one forever, but somehow never watched that movie. I don't know how. Keep going through here. Now, Cannibal the Musical, Matt Stone and Trey Parker's movie, like their first movie, really fun. And you could tell too, like where the inspiration, like where they were gonna, cause some of the voices they were doing were voices that kind of spun off into the South Park characters and stuff like that. But as you can see, though, there is a lot of stuff. Like I said, when I was going through the horror ones, there are so many different things on here. And the thing, too, is even if you guys... Because I know some places, some countries, they don't have Tubi access to it. I figure, too, you can always just use these as, like, a basis of, like, ideas of things to look up on, like, other streaming services. And sometimes, like, YouTube has some free movies as well. So, like, and Netflix and stuff like that, too. Some of these might be on Netflix or some other streaming things as well. And I am going to go through, too, Amazon Prime, like their horror on there, and like Hulu's horror and all that kind of stuff as well. But kind of going through them like little by little. What this Blair Witch spoof is. The Claire Witch thesis. The Claire Wizard thesis. I did not know that one. And it says it's from 2018. I didn't even know they were making like Blair Witch spoofs like recently. Because back when Blair Witch Project first came out, if you guys remember, they made so many of these like cheap Blair Witch kind of like knockoff parody movies. There was like so many of them, like Bogus Witch Project, and then they made like these softcore like Bar Wench Project or Bear Wench Project, a whole lot of them. And this one here was kind of fun, this Small Apartments movie with Matt Lucas and Billy Crystal and Juno Temple. This one was actually pretty good. It was one of those kind of ones where it was like I think it was like intertwining kind of stories, I think. It was all like in this apartment kind of complex. Let's see, some more Mr. Science Theaters, Bruiser. This was like one of those George Romero movies. I think the only George Romero movie I don't think I ever watched. I don't know how or why, but I'm pretty sure I never actually watched that one. And His Dead Mother. I think I might have talked about that one in the horror video with Steve Buscemi. This was actually really, really fun. He has all kind of problems with his mother and stuff. Dead End is on there. So if you guys want to see me in this one, I have a fun little death scene in here in a porta potty in this movie with Tom Arnold and Sean Astin, Jake Busey, movie directed by Ron Carlson. Let's see. This is a documentary I always remember too. This My Date with Drew, this guy that was like obsessed with Drew Barrymore and like wants to go on a date with her and everything. I remember that one back in the day. Let's see. Never Too Young to Die. This was a John Stamos movie, which was kind of fun. And this is on Shout Factory's TV section, because Shout Factory has a bunch of different stuff on here. So we're now 1,600 in. A little over 1,600. And there are so many things. Like I said, I don't know how long these lists will go. Because like I said, with the horror ones, they never ended. You know what I mean? I went to 2,500 and I felt like it still was going. They have a riff track version of Jack Frost. So they have that Jack Frost in here with them talking over the movie as well. This movie, I think, might have had other titles. This one called Teen Monster. I feel like this movie had a different title. Because I remember this cover, but when it was called something else, I'm pretty sure. Do You Like My Basement? I don't know that one. And if there's any ones you see that I'm missing, let me know. George Carlin, some of the George Carlin stand-up special. I talked about this one. in the horror video Beyond Reanimator. I like that one a lot. Let's see. This was the last last Three Stooges with them all together, because Larry Fine had a heart attack or a stroke when they were filming this, doing this movie, and then they didn't actually even get to finish the whole movie. I think they had to do like some doubles and stuff like that. But this was the last time that they were all together. I believe it was. I'm pretty sure. But it wasn't bad though. I actually thought it was kind of fun. It was just basically them like going on a trip, and called Kook's Tour. But it was actually kind of fun though. I don't know what this one is here. Out There, from 1995. I do not know that one. This one, is this one of the public domain ones? I don't think this one was. I don't know. It might have been. There was a couple ones with Shemp that were public access, public domain as well, with the Three Stooges. Some Guy Who Kills People. This was actually pretty good. I remember liking this one a lot as well. Cadillac Man with Ron Williams. This was actually another one I remember liking. Bad Taste with Peter Jackson movie. I talked about that one in the horror video. Prehysteria 2. That was, I liked all those movies as a kid too. These were all part of the Moonbeam series of movies as well. We'll probably get to like 2,500 as well with this one, because I feel like that's like a good number to get to. Little Shop of Horrors. I think this was the original. This was the one with Jack Nicholson, the 1960 Roger Corman one on here. I don't know what this one is. Coach from 1978. Bud Townsend movie. I've definitely not seen that one. Toxic Crusaders, the movie. That's fun. I watched that as a kid all the time. The Toxic Crusaders series. This is a really, really obscure one on here. I had no idea this was on here. This is not on DVD. This is on nothing. This is only on VHS. And you thought your parents were weird. This is actually, I love this movie as a kid. Like, absolutely. I'm probably going to go and watch this. I totally didn't know this was on here with Joshua Miller is in this movie, but that was actually really fun. That was like, I rented that as a kid like crazy. Let's see. Psychic. So we're almost at 2,500. Return of the Killer Tomatoes. This is one of those ones when I think of the original like Walmart $5 bins. I remember this movie, this Deal of a Lifetime. I remember seeing that in there all the time. And then it ended up in Big Lots, seeing it in Big Lots. But it was not a bad movie though. But I remember like when I think of that, this is some weird thing here. Slaw from 2017 with Kevin Nash, like a parody of Saw. Two brothers and food snobs kidnap and torture people using their mother's coleslaw recipe. That's really strange. I've definitely not seen that. I never even heard of that. The Microwave Massacre. I talked about that some in the horror one. We'll keep going here. Some of the Evil Bong movies are on here. Some more Three Stooges. What is this movie here? Mistress. I don't not know this one. Robert De Niro movie? Definitely not seen that. Voodoo Man, another riff tracks. So there's a whole bunch of different riff tracks ones on here. What's this one? I not know. Something directed by Michael Cera. This is actually pretty good. Dark Horse, directed by Todd Sondes, who directed, why am I blanking on that right now? Welcome to the Dollhouse. And, you know, Happiness. This one with Selma Blair. This was actually pretty good. Like, this guy who's, like, dating Selma Blair's character. And there's these great scenes of him, like, driving down the street listening to this really strange kind of like public domainish kind of pop music kind of stuff. And, like, his character has, like all the bad luck in it. This I watched a lot as a kid. March of the Wooden Soldiers. That was one of those ones. But every time I watched it, I was always then wanted to watch that Babes in Toyland movie for some reason. I was always like, well, I kind of want to watch that now. Let's see. So we're almost at 2,500. Well, I'll go through like a little past it, just a little bit. But if any of you guys do have the same app where it lets you see this whole numbers like this, and you scroll through all of it, let me know how many that you came through. This is kind of cool. Bill Plimpton's movie, The Tune. He directed a bunch of different stuff. So we'll go through like a minute or so more. Riff tracks of Carnival of Souls. But I guess it's comedy because it's the riff track version, because the movie is not a comedy movie, though. Pool Party Massacre. That's a really fun horror comedy movie. I should be doing something in the sequel when that one films. This is... I guess is this another version of Munchie? Or that was the other one, was called Moochies, I think. This is Munchie. Yeah, this is the Jim Wynorski movie. Three Stooges on the Ed Wynn show. I don't know that one. I don't know if I've watched that Three Stooges thing or not. Love and Support. This is sort of like in a phone booth thing, like a Bill and Ted type thing. I don't know what that is, though. Keep going through a little more. But yeah, I think it's safe to say, though, on here, when it comes to horror, I feel like there's like a lot more, like I was saying, more known movies. On here, when it comes to comedy, there's not as many super known ones on here. There are a handful, but a lot more obscure stuff. But there are some pretty cool obscure stuff on here, though. Spider Baby's a great movie. Like I said, it's kind of more obscure, but some interesting obscure stuff, like I was saying. But hopefully, though, you guys have found some interesting ones to check out on here. And like I said, in the comments below, though, let me know anything else on here that you guys have come across, like comedy-related, that people should check out, or you suggest people check out, or what you guys thought of some of the ones I was talking about here. And let me know, too, any other kind of streaming services you guys would like me to go through and talk about and all that kind of stuff as well.
So anyway, though, guys, that was all for my video exploring the comedy movies on Tubi. And let me know, though, any other, streaming services you guys would like me to do videos on. I do plan to go through, like, Hulu, like I was saying, as well as Netflix and, Amazon Prime and stuff like that. I'm going to do probably, I'm trying to do, one of these videos a week, going through streaming stuff like that. But anyway, though, guys, like I always say, if you guys enjoy these videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys later.